Yesterday's protest and visit to Dilley included a march and ended with a rally featuring a handful of Congress members, including Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who joins us now. Congresswoman, thanks for joining Capitol tonight.
Absolutely.
So there's been so much talk about what the living conditions are like at the South Texas Residential Family Center. What were you able to see yesterday, and are you concerned about the people being held there?
I'm very concerned, especially as it relates to the children. I know that people around the world have seen the images of little Liam. And when you compare the images of when they took him to the images that you saw on yesterday, it should be quite concerning no matter who you are about the welfare of this 5-year-old. This 5-year-old that after I was trying to touch on him and hopefully get to see some signs of alertness, was non-responsive in that way. In addition, we actually had to urge those that are administrators at that facility to help out a woman who was crying because of the amount of pain that she was in. And she said that she had basically suffered from medical neglect. We don't know what was going on. We asked her kind of what was paining her, but she was clearly having a problem. Another woman who had like a cold towel around her said that she's been suffering with a fever. And she told them, listen, I will self-deport if that will get me out of here, me and my children. And they've been non-responsive to her medical needs as well.
So what is it that Congress can do? You were there, I think, on an oversight visit. So what can you do when you get back to D.C.?
Yeah, so I think that it's important to talk about what has happened today. We know that the Senate Dems had an opportunity to vote down funding for DHS, and frankly, they did that along with 7 Republican senators. I think that speaks to the moment that we're in. And so I think as they go through figuring out what will it look like to go forward, I think that we need to get real reforms that allow the people themselves, their lawyers, to be able to seek some sort of relief from the courts, because right now, relying on telling the federal government to follow the law or follow the rules, well, they're breaking it every single day. Reiterating what the law is isn't going to be enough. We need to basically give some ammunition to individuals as it relates to dealing with these rogue officers.
Now, there was a protest outside the facility during, or I guess after your visit. Near the end, DPS used, there was a protest, I'm sorry. Near the end, DPS used tear gas on the protesters. They said that the protesters did not disperse and had spit on officers. Did you see any of that? And what's your reaction to that?
I didn't see any of that. I will tell you that when we were there at the facility, one of the things that was concerning is that we were not seeing detainees, right? Like, so they took us to see the medical unit, and all we saw were people who actually work at the medical unit. So we're like, where are all the detainees? Like, is everyone healthy? And, they explained to us that it was lunchtime. And then Representative Castro made it clear that he heard rumors that they had actually put the entire facility on lockdown because we were coming. So it was very interesting trying to kind of see everyone. It seemed like they were hiding people, and they claimed that it was because of the protesters. And mind you, we still have a First Amendment right to protest. I had not heard of anything. Obviously, we were inside. We were trying to go to where the protesters were so that we could talk to them. And then my escort team was told that they are pepper spraying people. And so it's not safe for you to go that way.
I want to ask you, I know you're running for Senate, obviously. You're running a new ad that says ICE agents are, quote, turning us into Nazi Germany. Now, the U.S. Holocaust Museum and other Jewish voices have cautioned against those types of comparisons, saying they can exploit the Holocaust. What's your reaction to that? And does it make you second guess that kind of comment?
This isn't for exploitation. I think that it's important for us to know our history, and not just U.S. history, but obviously international history. And when you have officers that are saying that they're going to go door to door, when we have seen people running into other people's homes, when we've seen people being threatened with them just invading their homes, when we have a Supreme Court that has said you don't need a warrant whatsoever to go into someone's home. Well, I don't know if they necessarily said that, but we know that ICE has decided they don't need those warrants. That is a very serious thing that is very reminiscent of something that we've seen, in addition to these camps that they are putting people in. Again, you saw the images of Liam, but the reality is that there are so many other kids. We were told about kids that aren't eating. We are told about kids that are throwing up. We were told about people drinking water and then them finding that there had been mold in the receptacles that they were drinking from. We are talking about people that are literally getting sick every single day. In addition to kind of being in custody, it's the part about how they're even getting to custody and just going and rounding people up because of how they look or how they sound.
Thank you, Congresswoman, for joining the program.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage. And click the subscribe button here. You can also download our app and watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.